why I'm very grateful to have that Anne asked me and did me the honor of co-hosting. This is a very important discussion. Under the TPP, of course, we will see a lot more seafood from Vietnam coming into Canada. It's very important for Canadians to know that the environmental standards in Vietnam are higher than they've been from this incident that's very troubling. We also know, and I've been working for years on an issue that's a bit obscure perhaps for some, but it's the issue of shrimp aquaculture. And Vietnam had placed itself in a very significant position of branding. And that's because shrimp aquaculture around the world has a horrific reputation, and it deserves its horrific reputation, particularly in Thailand, where shrimp is known as pink gold. And it's also been a problem in Ecuador. The Supreme Court of India finally shut down shrimp aquaculture in India. But first step in shrimp aquaculture is to clear cut the mangrove forests, which are incredibly important for climate, for biodiversity. So they clear cut mangrove forests, then they take a coastal area and create a shrimp pond within which a lot of antibiotics and pesticides are used. But even more horrifically, the fish meal that's the fish meal that's fed to the shrimp in the shrimp ponds comes from an economic operation in Thailand that is unspeakable, that involves human slavery. People are on board these ships for years at a time, never allowed off and never paid. And fishing, so wild fish from the ocean converted into fish meal for fish in ponds. And of course, removing the mangrove forest also means that you lose the protection against storm surges or even tsunamis for coastal communities, and saltwater intrusion affects the agriculture. So in this horrific world of aquaculture shrimp, which I will just underscore, don't ever buy shrimp rings at Costco, because you're contributing to human slavery, the destruction of mangrove forests, the loss of biodiversity. It's horrific. But Vietnam decided that it could brand itself in the same way that Quebec maple syrup is known around the world as high-quality maple syrup from Quebec. Vietnam went to great lengths to brand itself as doing sustainable shrimp farming, not having the same degree of pesticides and antibiotics, not destroying the mangrove forest. So for Vietnam, it went to so much trouble and was so forward-thinking as a country to create a branded, now recognized by Marine Stewardship Council, that aquaculture shrimp from Vietnam is viewed as sustainable. This is a big step. And then to have something like the Formosa incident, which puts in question the health and the quality of seafood from Vietnam. That's a huge blow for a country that had worked so hard to create this branded, more sustainable shrimp from aquaculture. So when Anne asked me about it, I was immediately concerned, and I'm not going to say anything more except that we've had the benefit of a tremendous expert panel here, and the ways in which human rights, environmental sustainability, the health of our oceans, and human health, as well as climate change, all converge around issues of the trade in seafood and being sure that we know what we're buying, that we know whether it was contaminated, that we have standards that we can trust. We are an increasingly interwoven trade world where what you find on your plate may have come from a long place from where you're eating it. And this kind of conversation is so important. Je veux dire encore un grand merci à mon collègue et mon ami Anne pour ses efforts ici aujourd'hui et pour tous les conférenciers. Merci beaucoup. My friend David Kilgore and I work on everything every other day. It's another issue, but he's a great champion for human rights. So again, thank you, and I apologize for being so late, but I did get a lot of richness out of the conversation. Merci beaucoup.